Okay, inshallah we can go. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشرك به أزري ويشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وارنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اجتنابه وارنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. We have been studying the section Naml, the 27th section of the Qur'an. 27 is not section Naml, just a minute. So we are studying this section, these verses selected from this Naml section, Naml, just to show that how the Quran is really combining the verses of the Quran together with the creation. Well, calling both sides, including even the miracles given to the Prophet, also under the same name, which is ayah in the Quran. Ayah is repeated on many times, but this section especially really mixes them together so that you cannot really separate them. So we studied a couple of verses before. Today we are going to start, inshallah, with أَمَّنْ جَعَلَ الْأَرْضَ قَرَارًا وَجَعَلَ خِلَالَهَا أَنْهَارًا وَجَعَلَ لَهَا رَوَاسِيَ وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَ الْبَحْرَيْنِ حَاجِزًا أَإِلَٰهٌ مَعَ اللَّهِ بَلْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Now, last week also we made the point that Quran is encouraging us to ask questions about God, whether something else we can assign something else as a guide or see it as a God, or we cannot. So he says, okay, you have to question it. That is why he addresses human beings saying, who is it that made the earth a stable place to live? Who made it? Think about it, it means. Think about it, reflect on it. That is what the Quran is inviting us to do, for investigation, for questioning. That is why in Quranic teaching, we understand that first, having a doubt is quite human. And therefore questioning, but of course, where are we going to question? We cannot question the Quran leaving aside the creation. Why? Because Quran and the creation are integrated. Why? Because Quran claims to be the speech, the word of the Creator. So how can I confirm the Quran? That is what I keep repeating this to myself and to everyone. It is essential. Otherwise, how can we confirm that this is God's word? God is speaking. It is interesting. So Qur'an acknowledges it and said it is quite human. That's why I am teaching you. You have to question, who is it? But question the creation first. Study the creation first. And then somebody's hiding there. Come this way, let's be together. So, and then after questioning, you will understand that the one who creates the universe must have some qualities. So come and listen to me now and combine. You see that the one who speaks and guides human beings, the same one or not? Well, so that you can see the correlation between them. And then understand that really what the description I am giving to you is the qualities of a being who can be the creator of the universe. And you will understand that, yes, in order to create this universe, you must have a creator who has these qualities. So you will see that my presentation of the definition of to be a God is confirmed what the universe is witnessing. My makers. I love this example, very practical and very reasonable, that we can be convinced about it. A machine and a user's handbook, user's guide. So when I look at the machine, I don't know how it really works. So I try, just a minute. Oh, there is something here. A prophet comes with a guidebook and says, this guidebook is prepared and presented to me in order to give to you so that you can use the machine by following the guide and see if they correspond to each other. Then you will understand that this guide is prepared by the engineer of the computer. So if you feel that when I use the handbook, the guide, user's guide, oh, everything works smoothly. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. This guide is prepared by the one who made the engineer. But if there is a discrepancy, I say, it didn't work. Something is wrong. So machine is in front of me, and I can see how it is really made perfectly. It seems to be functioning, but how can I explain that? What is it all about? And we said, no, we should. I keep repeat this example. I should never forget, I am a part of the machine. Now, this is just an analogy. Analogies cannot be 100% perfect. Analogies are only to make comparison. There is a difference between the machine and the handbook, isn't it? Yeah, one of them is machine working. The other one is just written text. So universe is the working machine. Written text is the revelation that the prophets receive and say, this is an handbook of the universe, including yourself, because you are a part of the universe, a guide how to use yourself, how to use the universe, so that there will be no contradiction between you, your feelings, your qualities, and the qualities of the universe. They must correspond to each other, compatible with each other, and work perfectly. So if I am used, for example, when I was young, I used to use, of course, typewriters. There was no such thing. So typewriters. So I am used to, look, this is very important, my friends. I am used to using the typewriter. Do you remember this? I don't know how to hold the lever and push it there and type it. So if I try to use the keyboard of the machine in the same way, what happens? There is no lever, but there's a mouse. So I have to do it something different. I have to adapt myself to the conditions of the reality of the universe. But my accustomed way, I think this is an essential matter. So in my society, in my family culture, custom, I am using in this way the machine. Problem is there. Especially if we are in a society, some corrupt human morality became normalized. Oh, it is too hard to digest, to adapt myself and ourselves to the teachings of the Qur'an, and it becomes very difficult to understand and confirm it. So what should be done? What should be done? First of all, we have to be open-minded. Not everything that I have learned and inherited from the society to be thrown away and dumped away into the trash can. But at the same time, not everything must be taken as a criterion for me. That is why Qur'an says, use your human feelings in this way. Use my creation in this way. Therefore, you will be very confident in your life. You will be happy, but it is always difficult, isn't it? The way we are used to living in this world. To get rid of them, to leave them behind. Even the habit of, I don't know how to sleep, is difficult. And how to cook your rice is difficult. So if you are used to very subcontinent Asian rice, it is, how do they eat it? But if you are used to Middle East, it is mostly, they will say, the subcontinent people will say, did you put sugar in it? Did you put sugar in it? Why? It is something, for example, supposed to be salty because there is no spice. They cannot eat it. Both of them are all right, but in this example, what I am trying to describe and draw your attention to, the way I am used to is extremely difficult to leave it behind and adapt myself in another. Especially those people, not only the people who are grown in Muslim countries, most of the customs of, I mean, if you are aware of it, not really, although people are Muslim, but mostly mixed up with their local culture, habit. This is even more difficult. Why? To leave it behind and change it. Why? Because we are Muslims, alhamdulillah. We eat very hot food with Bismillah. On the other hand, very sweet food, Middle Eastern food, became Bismillah. So what's wrong with it? No. It is very difficult for Muslims who are grown up in a Muslim culture, or not culture, in a Muslim culture. I'm not saying, be careful, Islamic tradition, prophetic tradition. No, Muslim country tradition. If you go to Turkey, they have another word. If you go to Arabian word, that is completely different. Iranians, another matter. And subcontinent Asian countries, completely different. So North African people, in another story. Habits are mixed, but some definitely may be quite a lot of common points. But when it comes to details, then they start finding it very difficult because it is already legitimized. Why? Because it is mixed up with Islamic culture, Islamic customs. Those people who come from Muslim countries and living in the United States for a long time, they will see different cultures are really, everybody is colored with their culture. In fact, is there anything wrong with the culture? No, but if there is a good element in it or bad element in it, wrong elements are mixed up with it, especially family habits, it is extremely difficult to leave it behind because they take it for granted that we are Muslims, what we are doing is Islamic. So it is extremely difficult to leave them behind and change it. But those people who join Islam coming from a non-Muslim background, they say, okay, this is a different word now. I am swimming in a different world now. So rather than salt water or now sweet water or really, how they say, fresh water, not sea water. So I have to adapt myself. Salt water lifts you up, but sweet water needs more effort. So different conditions. They are already ready to see and to access in another culture, in another way of life. That is what it is. It may be easy for them, although to change the habits takes time, definitely. Anyways, that is what took the discussion away from it. But questioning what I am doing, whether the revelation or the prophetic message is correct or not, is encouraged by the Qur'an itself in a challenging way. In a challenging way. How? We will read it. Who is that? Who is it that made the earth a stable place to live? Who made rivers flow through it? Now, arrangement. Deliberate arrangement. What does it mean? Conscious arrangement. Who set immovable mountains on it and created a barrier between the fresh and salted water? Who is arranging all this order? Creating within this order. Don't you think that the one who is doing it must be a conscious being, knowing who are going to use it? Conscious being. Is there any sign of consciousness in matter? Knowledge in matter? Preparing the creation for the future so that everything will be arranged accordingly so that it will be appropriate for inhabitants, for living beings. Who arranged it? Especially we have to pay attention. Everything arranged not only for according to adaptable to my physical needs, but also to my feelings. There are two questions there. One is, how can I explain the existence of my feelings? I keep saying that I don't like this. Oh, for example, something is going on nowadays. Every week there is another story, so don't worry about it. Today this, tomorrow another, continue like this. The world must have some change. Otherwise, stable life will let people think. It's very bad. So keep them busy. Media, the function of media is keeping the people busy. So I know what is going on in the world, although he or she doesn't know what is going on in the life of his very close neighbor, maybe member of his families. It's a contradiction. So I came to the UK long ago. So I found people that time newspaper. Everybody was reading newspaper. In the UK, the British people are very fond of reading newspapers that time. So the intellectual people read newspaper. And especially they are interested in what is going on in the world. I see what are they reading, okay? Articles about what happened in such and such that time. Iran in the news headline. What happened, keeping them busy. So Afghanistan, another matter. Anyways, I was surprised, like the first time, it wasn't the first time, but the real experience for me to be in the UK first. And I said, this gentleman or lady doesn't know what is going on in the life of the very person sitting next to him or her. He's interested in Afghanistan. Did they ask his opinion? No. If they have some sort of feelings, who cares? Nobody. He keeps himself busy. That's what media functions, Keep yourself busy. So that you won't feel relaxed and you won't think. It's very dangerous. Neither sultans nor any type of administration system, whatever it is, dictators, kings, democracies, leaders, or whatever it is, presidents, whatever they are, they don't want the people who they are ruling to think, to be able to question what they are doing. So they just swallow it, keep themselves busy. So it is something strange, I said. What's going on? That time, the media, newspapers or news, TV news was the famous. So what is going on in this news? I started questioning. My really topic was also sociology of religion. So I was trying to understand the social structure of the society and the religious elements. Whether religion doesn't mean only Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and Buddhism. What kind of world view they have? That is their belief. Even atheists, they have their religion, believing in nature. So is the source of existence. Yeah. And for example, Jews and Muslims and Christians believe the source of existence is a one who is not within the universe, but the creator of the universe. But they say, no, it is within the universe. That is their belief. That is the people's belief in a God, in God, or in some sort of definition of God they have for themselves. So we understand that this universe needs a creator, a source of existence, who must have what? Deliberate choice, planning, arranging everything for a purpose, so that he will say, the following said, think about this, the following phrase I am going to read now. These arrangements are for purpose. For a purpose, that. So look at the valleys, look at the mountains, high mountains. On high mountains, it doesn't really rain, but snow. Why? People need water in summer. so the snow will melt slowly. It is cold, but under the sun. Under it, if you follow it, when the snow hills on the street that the people push over, and then they last longer than normal place. Why? The heat and there is arranged perfectly. I cannot explain, but there is arranged perfectly. This is a deliberate preparation. It cannot be just explained away, simply saying that accidental development that is just happening something by themselves. It cannot be in this way. So we have to understand that after looking at the qualities manifested in the creation, and then the essential and repeated question comes here. It's a beautiful, actually, I love the expression, ilahun ma'allah. It's very sweet, very sweet. Could there be any divine ilah, God, beside the creator of God? Could there be anything which has divine qualities within the universe? It's very open question. So, but ilahun ma'allah bel ekseruhum la ya'lemun. This no is not the answer, by the way. That is the translation of bel. Whatever the way you explain is not acceptable, think about it. But I am telling you, most of them don't know. Because in order to know, what do you have to do? In order to learn, what do you have to do? You have to study. You have to listen. You have to read. So see what the previous generations have already discovered. You have to do that. But as a result of ignorance, you just follow the culture blindly. You become a piece in the flow of the society without them, Unfortunately, I really admire, not confess. Unfortunately, we don't go through this stage, but those people who investigate and decide, no, this is wrong. No, this is right. Oh, let me decide. Let me reflect on it. Let me investigate it. They are the best people to me. But born Muslims are, that is something there. Why is it a problem? Let's make a little bit sociological analysis. I love it. I love to see the reality. China is following the Buddhism for how many years? Centuries. And how many? Do you know it all? 3, 4, 5,000? I don't know. This tradition is going on, and people still Buddhist, or nothing to do with religion. No, okay. All right, Muslim countries come to Christians the same, isn't it? For example, let's say France. The French people are following some sort of Catholicism nowadays. Who cares about it? But that is the reality. But still, if you ask them their identity, they will say, I'm raised up by a Christian family. That's it, Catholic family. That's it. How many years? 2,000 years, maybe, after St. Paul. Yeah, I think 2,000 is a very fair number. 2,000 years. Okay, Muslims, 1,400, following the same. Number is changing. Why? As the Qur'an says in another place, everybody is happy with his own already found ancestral heritage. ancestral heritage. وَكَذَلِكَ آبَاءَنَا نَفْعَلُ. The Quran, how many times? I'm not really Hafiz. I don't know the Quran by heart, but in general, what is going on? But how many times is there anyone? How many times is repeated in the Quran? وكذلك نفعل وكذلك وجدنا آباءنا نفعل كذلك. The only rejection they raise against the prophets is this: we found our ancestors following this way. Yours is a new thing. This is our culture. Yours is a new thing. So who is claiming this? To me, every society. A society changes radically happened when Islam was spreading. Before this, I have to be honest, Christianity was spreading. St. Paul's movement. St. Paul's movement changed the pagan societies into a God-believing societies, but it developed in its own way. I don't really say this is right, this is not the place here to compare religions. We are not studying comparative religion, history of comparative religion. So, but they have been doing, after this conversion, following the same tradition for 2,000 years. Muslims are, doing the same thing almost. Islam expanded, and stopped in some place, and then went into Spain and Andalusia. Emperor was established there. They were Muslims, so they were pushed, executed, or those executions, or that how is it called? Inquisition. What? Inquisition happened. They were killed. They were forced. They were just sent to exile. It's horrible. Maybe 100 times worse than Holocaust. No one mentions it. Isn't that a bit strange? So no one mentions it. Thousands of people dislocated their places, not only killed, burned in pots, boiling water thrown, whatever it is. Not only Muslims, by the way, Jews as well. Strangely, whatever historic, sometimes it really strikes my attention. And Ottomans that time was powerful, took later on, but took the Jews from Spain and took them into Istanbul. They live still in Istanbul comfortably. The richest people are there too, as usual. So they are there, comfortable, secure, the best place of Turkey. They live in an island, which is called, I would say in Turkish, Büyükada, but big island or something. So they have their quarters and secure and enjoying it, happy there. All right. I'm not jealous, but the same authority didn't care about Muslims. It's not interesting, isn't it? Historically, I cannot explain this. They sent ship to take them, not the Muslims. Muslims ran away, either died or ran away into North African countries, especially Morocco. That is history, amazing. Okay. Today I'm going this way and this way, interesting subjects that I feel comfortable when I feel the audience who understand me, who said, I go into it, dive into deep. So, okay, this question is repeated many times, but we have to be careful. Muslims and non-Muslims, coming from Muslim or non-Muslim background, regardless, we have to question that whoever says, I am a Muslim because that is, I was born in a Muslim country and raised up by a Muslim, Qur'an rejects it. But my parents are Muslim. And the same thing is claimed by Christians. I am Christian, but why? My parents are Christian. They are right. Jesus will save us. And Jews say, well, of course, it is beyond doubt. We are chosen children of God. Christians have one child, they have children. So I don't know what is going on there. So all of them are interesting cases. So it is not a legitimate way of defining that Islam is the right religion. Huh? Okay, I believe in the Quran. And that is my tradition. I'm very happy with it. Who says Buddhism is a bad religion, but my parents are following it? That is why I am a Buddhist, but religion is bad. Who said that? Have you ever seen any Buddhist claiming this? We have to come to our senses. We are basing our claim on something pre-accepted. It means taken for granted. Islam is the best for Muslims. Christianity is the best for Christians. Buddhism is definitely the most humanitarian culture. So I'm following it. Look, the Europeans, when they got really, how do you say, psychological depression or something, they come to us, practice our yoga, isn't it? What is smiling? So practice our tradition. You see, it is a source of relaxation for them. Beautiful, isn't it? Everybody is justifying their own culture. So I have a very, very close neighbor who is from Japan, you know. He is very respectful to me. Why? I am an old guy. That is his religion. Still, is it bad? No. Or whatever they follow is right or not? This is not bad. Respectful to people, but you have to be respectful to the universe. And the creator of the universe, you have to acknowledge the creator. And do it by acknowledging its owner and saying that, oh, you are a present for me. I say, bottles here. So water bottles, where you drink? No, the water, it is a present to you by a gift to you by your creator. So acknowledge it, take it from his hand, if you like, in quote unquote. Take it from his hand, because he says, I have created all this with my own hand. Do you remember this verse? Anyone? أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّا خَلَقْنَا لَهُمْ أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّا خَلَقْنَا لَهُمْ بأيدينا. That is, I know this verse by memory. When I think about it, I can't. That is my weak point. So with my own hand, I created the animals for you to ride on them, to benefit from their everything, skin, hair, meat, or whatever, everything, bones for the fertilizer factories, plants, everything is useful for a human being. How can we not really take all this from his hand? You understand his hand means direct creation, no intermediaries. It means direct creation. If you know the Islamic history of scholarship, they discuss about anything. I studied those things. Okay, I said, enough, thank you very much. It means directly created by him without any intermediary. This is what I made with my own hand. Come on, enjoy the salad I made. Yeah, it means I didn't ask anybody to help me, or I didn't buy it ready. No, I made it myself. Now that is what the Creator is saying. So we will see, did the Creator, has the Creator prepared water for us with his own hand? Question it. Take it from his hand. Not only do something, yes, very humanly approvable and necessary, but still the real humanity to acknowledge the owner of his own existence. I don't really explain away my existence by attributing it to my parents only. They were just really helpful people, compassionate people. I have to respect them. I have to be respectful to them. But at the same time, they themselves and myself are created by the direct act of the Creator. By his hand is symbolically explained in the Qur'an. So inshallah, we will pay attention to, could there be any divine power besides God? Could there be? Think about it. Most of them don't know because they don't attempt to learn. If you don't go to school, if you don't learn, how can you become a doctor or engineer or anything, teacher? And how? You have to learn. If you don't question your creation, if you don't question anything that you are benefiting from, you are ignorant. If you are ignorant, then of course you assign or really assume something other than the Creator of the universe is giving you water. So this water, I bottled water. You are carrying your own private bottle. That's why I appreciate. Buying a bottled water from the greengrocery or a deli is very, very mischieving. Why? I paid for it. And what is this one? Spring something. Well, they call it natural water. On it, read it. Pure, natural water. Natural man, wake up. No, pure God's gift. You have to establish, young people, a company say God's gift. God made water. Why? What is nature who will make this water for you? By the way, there is another verse here. We got this. We understood. I keep repeating this, but that is the purpose of studying this verse. I'm not studying the verse from grammatic perspective, rhetoric perspective. No. That's not my specialty. A little bit I read here and there, but my specialty is, what is it to do with me now? Everything is. Because Qur'an claims to be the speech of the Creator, i.e. me, and addressing to me ever present, ever fresh. This is what it claims. If you claim so, I must be able to read you, I'm speaking to the Qur'an now, as speaking to me, educating me, training me, teaching me what I need in order to have a very pleasant life in this century in New York That is my function. So it must make sense to me. It must be applicable to me. I cannot read the Quran telling the stories of old people, old nations, how they were arrogant against the prophets, how they are really punished by God severely. No, what does it mean for me now? I don't see anything like that. On the contrary, non-believers are really harassing the believers. What's going on? But what the Quran said, no, it should not have anything to do with it, as far as I am concerned. But is it telling me an imagination? No, it happened. It is the historical event. So as if talking to me how? Let's not go to the wonderful another verse here, but concentrated, and let us come to the end now. Now, your father comes, or mother comes. Come, my son or my daughter. Let's have a cup of coffee together, all right? Come. While you are having it, you know what time? When I was around your age, maybe a little bit younger, starts telling his life story. There was a guy, my friend, we met each other in school, right? And he used to do this, I used to follow him, and I did realize, something horrible happened to us, and it was a very, very bad experience. I said, if only somebody had told me before. But I got some bad habits from him now. I am something, drug addict. What does it mean? Oh, my son, I'm seeing you that you are getting involved in drug business. You will be very sorry. But if this son says, oh, my father, who was this guy? What was his name? And then his name is Pharaoh. Example. Pharaoh. Where was he living? He was in Egypt. Was it a powerful man? Yeah, he was a powerful man. Tell all the story. And the father will say, okay, this guy is stupid. I shouldn't waste my breath, and I shouldn't speak to him anymore. Qur'an's prophetic stories consists of a third of the Qur'an. Did you notice that? If it is surprising, if not the stories now, real events lived in the life of the Prophet himself, and the Quran accompanied this life and gave guidance, a practical, applicable to human life guidance, there they are also narrated in the Quran, because contemporaries of the Prophet has experienced that it's really true. Whatever it says, it is really happening out there, but it is narrated to me as well. If you include all this, especially this 9th Tawbah and Anfal and Ali Imran and the somehow some cases in Baqarah and some, for example, the chapter who's called Muhammad, chapter Muhammad are all history. What history related to practical life of the Prophet? They are all told to me now. If you include it, more than, a little bit more, to be honest, more than half of the Quran is full of this nakil, how do you say? I mean, the
transmission
of the past time,
like an oratory.
Yes, stories about not the stories, telling us these events. So it is very important to understand that if the Quran is not to be read in order to understand within my own real life conditions, half of the Quran is dumped into trash can. Irrelevant. What shall I do? Directly relate them into my life. That is what really I have been doing in another session, studying the prophetic stories and applying it, how they can be understood within the 21st century context. And it, I don't know, somebody maybe you may be following, are you following that solo, that prophetic stories, Moses' story, Abraham's story, the Mary's story, and also, sorry? Quite a number of prophets' stories, Solomon's story, we studied. And I'm preparing Abraham's story. It's a lot of narrations about Abraham's story in the Quran, Prophet Abraham. So anyways, I'm just preparing it now for it on an occasion. I studied before, well before, so that I'm ready. So it is not hard, but what makes it easy, changing the mind, changing the mind. It needs a really not only change, paradigm shift, like a Newtonian way of understanding the universe coming into quantum way of understanding the universe. Completely contradictory, seemingly. So, but it is fundamentally the same thing. But of course, although it seems contradictory, if I say no, definition of the Quran makes it necessary for me that I have to read them for now as a guide for my now. My life journey needs this. Now, I have to use my universe and your speech as my user's manual, user's guide. So it must be applicable to my universe, which is very reasonable. When you feel comfortable about it, that no Quran must be read in this way, you can do it easily. Alhamdulillah. With this, a kind of general introduction to why the Quran keeps this kind of language saying, but at the same time, we have to know that in some places, Quran says they are doubting about the truthfulness of what I am saying. That is why they don't believe. But we have to again understand, be careful, it's a very, very sensitive subject. If only you need the history of commentaries on the Quran, you will really appreciate it, which I'm very thankful understanding this, realizing this. So when we read it, they are doubting means they take their guard and said, shall I listen to this man, to the prophet, or not? So they are doubting whether this man is saying true or not without questioning. So any doubt, as the Quran says, who is it that made the earth a stable place to you to live, for you to live? Who is it that? Isn't that answering a doubt? Isn't that an answering a doubt? If it was sure, he would say, you are absolutely sure that I am the one who made the earth stable, a stable place for you. But you said, who is it that? It means think about it and get out of your doubts. But investigation is necessary. So without doubt, we cannot get engaged into investigation. It is necessary. Without questioning, you don't have the answer. You don't appreciate the answer. For example, if you don't wonder why I'm wearing this, yeah, you don't wonder, you don't really question that. I come and said, Brother Khalid, I am wearing this for this purpose. You say, what is the point? Come on, stupid man. No, what are you talking about? Yeah? If you don't question, my mantra is no question, no answer. Even there is an answer doesn't make sense to you, doesn't mean anything to you. So you are walking, somebody stops you in ayah, yeah, and why your building is there, but you are not going there. You are not. You look at them strange, yeah, like this, because you are not questioning. You are not really. It is not your problem. So you wouldn't appreciate this guide for you because you don't question it. You think I'm going to Islamic Center, but this man knows that you are going to Islamic Center, and Islamic Center is in NYU building. That's why he's telling you. But you don't really know that. You don't really question it. If you don't have a question, there is no answer. That is a great principle to me. So if you have any question, don't hesitate. Put it out. Don't keep the poison within yourself. Get the antibody or antibiotic, whatever is needed. Get the answer. If you are ill inside, don't hesitate. Go and ask, tell a doctor, this is wrong for me. What shall I do? Because doctor is the specialist, expert on your body, this body problem. How about your spiritual problems? Intellectual questions, go and ask. If someone says, I'm going to make a Qur'an study here, oh, that is, and at the end come, excuse me, you are teaching the Qur'an? This is my question. How do you answer? But it's about you see, I'm speaking to the Muslims. Okay, you are not the expert for me. No good. So we have to question so the people understand. We'll understand that the people have questions, man. I say I'm teaching Islam, but I don't have answers to questions. Questioning the legitimacy of the religion of Islam. I'm not ready for it. So they will need to investigate. That is their profession. So that is enough. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Today, lots of digressions. Excuse me for this, but I apologize if I waste your time. No. There's a comment. Let me see. Not a comment. The transmission. Thank you. Who wrote it? Farah. Thank you, Farah. She is one of the person who's studying Islamic studies and doing PhD on it. So you must be ready, Farah, to answer the questions. That is why you should study Islamic studies, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. I appreciate your patience and would like to see you next Tuesday, inshallah, at 6 p.m. Isha prayer will be earlier. So most probably we will start at 6 p.m. inshallah next Tuesday.